How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investment. So today is CovrPrice's weekly top 10. And this is where they just show you the top 10 biggest movers in terms of volume, units sold, and also price increase and all that kind of stuff. It basically shows you what is currently trending now as, the top hottest books, so to speak. And I like to go through this list and kind of give you my take on it and what do I think of these in the long term, short term, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it and see what's what. All right, first up, we got Batman Urban Legends, number 6. This was on the number one. It was number one spot last week. And the reason why, this is where Tim Drake explores his sexuality. He goes on a date with, or accepts a date from his partner in crime. The story is going to continue on issue 10, but I've said this before. These types of books, and I showed you an example with North Star last time, and how he came out as gay, and it didn't really help it in the long term. This type of book is just going to be a flash in the pan. I've done multiple videos on this already. It's just writers trying to boost sales, and it's whatever they did. Fine. But this for a long term is not going to go anywhere because it's not that crucial of a story. It doesn't bring out a first appearance of anyone. It's not even an origin story, so to speak. It just kind of retreads some, a little bit of his background. That stuff doesn't really hold up long term. And, there's a bunch of Robins out there. A prime example to look at these kind of hype books that they just write something in shock value so it gets all over news is look at Batman Damned, when, you could see Batman's penis, right? Where's that book today? It's not as much as it was back in the day, right? It still has some value, but it's not as high as it was when it first came out. These books are going to continue to go down. So if we look here at some data, or let's go back to this page right here. Weekly top sale. The top sale of this past week was $46. 103 units sold. $46. Remember that. So if we go down here and let's look at more data. Okay. So $46 was the price. So here we go. Look at total sales volume. As you can see, when it came out, boom, lots of units being sold. There's tons and tons and tons. Seeing how it's going down recently? More down. And this dollar amount just means that $409 of raw comics were sold. And it's going down and down and down to pretty much next to nothing, right? Look, there's one book probably sold for $31. So $46 was the previous or this week's high. But if you look down here, a week ago, one sold for 102, right? And let's look even a little further down here, see if anything beats the 46. Oh, we got a 49, we got a 47, 44, 40, 52, 47. So what does that tell me? That this book is already going down. It's already going down after a week of its release. And it's going to continue to go down unless the people that wanted it picked them all up. And if you're thinking of flipping this, don't. If you're thinking of holding it long term, don't. It's not. If you love this book and you generally like the story, you like the art, you like the cover, you like the write, whatever you like about it, you're collecting Batman Urban series, Urban Legends, buy it. You should buy what you love, buy what you like, buy what you want to read, buy it. But I'm talking this from investment point of view. Pass. Okay, it's only going to continue down, and yeah. All right, so let's move on. I don't want to talk about it all day again. Let's see what we got here. Oops. Passive Aggressive number 1. All right, so this is just people really like this storyline, and obviously has it's really hot because the people really like the story. So that's why this one's picking up. So that's generally good. You want something that picks up with a good story. It sold 76 copies. Weekly top sale, $50. We can jump into it here right now. Current trend is down 59. or 5.9%. It came out not too long ago. And yeah, so like I said, there's nothing unique I would say about this book other than, people like to read it, so they're buying it up. So I don't see the things with these new books is it's really hard to say where is this going to go because it's a brand new book. Superman started in the 30s and it's been going since. So kind of trajectory. Something like this, it's like after 12 issues, it could be done, and then you never see it again. So that's long term. It's really hard to say. If you like this book, you want to read it, buy it. I have not read it, don't know about it, so I cannot comment on the actual story of it. All right, let's move on to number 3. Number 3, Invincible Iron Man number 1. And what is so special about this? Well, Kevin Feige confirmed that Riri will be in Black Panther 2. So that is confirmed. This book's I bought a few of not this book per se, but other Riri comics, and I have a few of them held back. I should have bought more. Always, sometimes I'm like, it's kind of risky because I have to hold all these comics back. But yeah, so she's confirmed she's going to be in it. If you don't know who she is, she becomes Ironheart, which is like the next Iron Man maybe in the MCU. We'll see. Okay, so this is just she gets a temporary costume, her Ironheart costume, but this is like the first time she's been in a costume. 49 comics have sold this week, and it has a 7-day trend of 142%. Top weekly graded sale is $260. You can go down here. So $260. You can get, let's see, the price anywhere from $50 to $260. That's probably some bold stuff in there. So you can definitely, I would for this book, I would definitely say it's worth getting into because it's definitely a risk, right? Because you don't know. She could just pop up in Black Panther 2 and then she's kind of done, right? Maybe she proves to be popular and they put her as the next Iron Man. So then you definitely want to get these comics. And if you can look at these recent graded sales, because let's go with graded, realistically, you only want a 9.6 and 9.8. Preferably 9.8. So if you look back, January, you're looking at about 100 to 150. But now it's shot up to 2 to 250. And it's only going to climb. Of all the Riri comics, I would say this is the least one you should go for. And we'll get to the better ones in a minute. This is number 3, though. I would pass if you can only afford to get one. And I'll show you the next one. Number 4, Ironheart 9. There's nothing really that special about this other than Riri and Shuri, meet. And she hangs out in Wakanda. The only reason this is popular because she's supposed to show up in Wakanda in the movie. So 7-day trend up 301%. Yeah, because this is number 9. There wasn't much special about this until just recently. I would pass on this book. This one is just going to be really popular right now due to the fact that she's showing up in Black Panther. But there's not much of a big key beyond that. So, like I said, we'll move on to what you should, if you're going to get Riri, what you should get. All right, number 5, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, number 1. The reason why this one is popular is because rumors are MCU is building towards a Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, building towards a Secret War storyline, which would be pretty cool. 28 units sold this past week. It's quite a bit. Weekly top grade 720, up 154%. And if you know much about this, in issue 8, that's the first black suit, or the origin of the symbiote suit, I should say. But yeah, so let's look at some of this data. 9.10 was the top sale of this book. As you can see, it's just like mostly in the 9.8, 9.9 range. If you can get a 9.9, get it. Bang, wow, 9.9 sold back in 2010 for $700. All right, so 9.8. So we look back here. Let's go back not too far. Looking at 9.8, I would suggest getting 9.4 to 9.8 in this book. Not too long ago, these were selling for about 250, 150, and then in March it shopped around 800, 900, back down to 6 to 800, and now they're back in the $500 to $600 range. We all know, if you watch my stuff, that April, May, and June were really hot months for comics. I would suggest picking up this comic because not only is it a number one, so you don't have to. That in itself is good for long term. The Secret Wars were a very popular storyline, so even if Marvel doesn't do it now, they will do it eventually. And yeah, I just think this is a good book. Long term, I think it's a safe bet. You can pick one up now, and I think it will continue to climb. There'll probably be some dips and valleys and stuff like that over the course. But if they end up doing this, you're sitting on nice and pretty. Like I said, 9.4 to 9.8. That's the range you want for long-term investment. And I would definitely, I think this is a good buy. All right, let's move on to number 6. Number 6, Miles Morales, Spider-Man Annual, number 1. And this is a Tony Fleece. Hopefully I said that name right. Fleece. Cover, variant cover. It's 1 of 25. Retailer incentive. This is done by the artist who does Stray Dogs. And yeah, and it's just not much more to say about that other than it's, looks kind of cool, very interesting, and it's a new comic. The one thing I will say about this is that, let's look at some sales data, is that I wouldn't, some of these like newer books, they fly off the shelf and they get really hot right in the beginning, but then it cools and then it slows down. It hasn't been out very long, so there's not much sales data to it. They're selling around $50. Now they're up to like 150. I would, like I said, if you like this book, buy it. As far as like long term, there's nothing unique or special about this book too terribly, other than it's a variant. Now, I don't know how many they made of the regular Miles Morales Spider-Man Annual number 1, not the variant one. So if it was a low print run and you're getting the variant, like I always say, low print run variants are pretty good long term. But outside of that, that's about it. All right, number 7. All right, we got the Eternals. Obviously, the Eternals movie is coming out. It's almost here. 29 units sold this week. Top sale, $22.75. Let's look at the Eternals. Here we go. This is my take on the Eternals. I'm actually doing a video coming out probably in the next couple days on the Eternals and where I think it will go. So I'm not going to touch too much into this. Top grade in a 9.8 sold in May for $3,800. We can look at this over here. And these are the graded books. If you were going to buy this book, I would say get anywhere between a 9.0 and up. You don't want less than that. I'm talking about investing, obviously. So if you're looking at, it sells for around, most recent sales 22, 27, 29. But then if you went back in June, they're selling for $3,800. So yeah, I mean, let's look at a 9.6. Let's see where a 9.6 is going. All right, 9.6 recent sales is around $500, $700, $600, somewhere in there. But if we went back to May, they're almost $1,000. So it's kind of hard to say because, like I said, there's been a massive pullback since May, April, June era. So it's kind of hard to say. I think this one, I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm doing a video on it, but it's hard to predict the long term because it all depends on the movie. All right, moving on to number 8. This is where we get into where I was talking about earlier. All right, number 8. This is the first full appearance of Riri. Invincible Iron Man number 9. Now, she appeared in Invincible Iron Man number 7, but this is her first full appearance. She is not in the suit, just appeared. All right, so let's look at this one. 7-day trend, up 126%. Weekly top sale, 775. Units sold is 29. All right, this came out in 2016. Definitely get this variant cover. I already picked up a few, so good luck. But yeah, so this one, obviously, with Riri coming out, like I say, I think this risk is worth it because here's the thing. Iron Man's gone, Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is not playing him. Tony Stark, the character, will eventually come back, but it'll be a while. Maybe not Robert Downey Jr. I'm sorry. So they're probably going to need a new Iron Man, and they might use her, Riri, as the new Iron Man. They might do a Young Avengers. Maybe that's what they're building up to. So I would suggest to take the chance on it. This is the book that you want. If you can get the variant right here, get the variant, obviously. But this is the book you want. This is her first full appearance of all the Riris. I would get this one. Yeah, so I think it'll be a good long-term investment. It's definitely worth the risk. All right, moving on. All right, we got basically the same thing, but it's the second printing. If you can't afford the first printing, go ahead, get the second printing. Not much more to say about it, except it's the second printing. It's basically the same. The way you tell the difference is see as a little picture of Riri here on the first printing. It doesn't. That's the easiest way to tell. Yeah. All right, moving on. The last one on this list is Defenders #1, the Peach Momoko variant. It's a 1 in 50, so makes it more rare. So we look at here. Like I said, what makes this popular is right now is kind of speculative. It's not going to be first appearance of Mother Galactus. All right, that's what it is. I don't see them jumping into a Mother Galactus storyline in the MCU. So this is irrelevant if you're thinking of terms like, oh, she's going to appear in the MCU or whatever. I just won't even mention nothing. There's too much history of Galactus. They're not going to touch on some brand new storyline that hasn't even proved itself. They're going to go with the classic storylines with Galactus, which he will appear in the MCU. I guarantee you that. That's my bold prediction. This is a variant cover. Pretty cool. I like it. There's lots of variant covers to see. I personally like the Silver Surfer and Hulk one a little better, but to each their own. So let's see. Where's the data at? Here's the data. This is a new comic. Like I said, they always get really popular in the beginning and fall back behind, down later. If you look at here, it came out, it was about $100, 75. Now it's selling for like $250 to $340, quite a bit. I don't know the print run of the cover A, so depending on the print run, maybe this 1 in 50 is actually quite rare. And like I always say, get the super rare, super low print run stuff. But outside of that, long term, I just don't see this as being a good long term. Like obviously it could go up, but it depends on the rarity. If it's super rare, then sure. But if it's not that rare, if there's thousands and thousands of copies of the variant, then I would pass. All right, that's kind of my take on their top 10 and what I think of the short term, long term, all that kind of stuff. If you have any other questions about this, please comment below. I'll try to give you my best honest answer. Like I've been in the industry for, since I was born, but as a dealer for, over 13 years. So I'll tell you right off the bat, all the books that I would buy off this would pass, have bought, pass. I don't know if you can see my mouse on here. Okay, so Batman Origins Legends, pass. Aggressive, pass. Invincible Iron Man 1, buy. Ironheart 9, pass. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars 1, buy. Miles Morales, pass. Eternals #1, buy. It's kind of risky right now. It's already gotten its big jump. Invincible Iron Man 9, first and second printing, buy. Defenders #1, pass. That's how I would do it, and I practice what I preach, and I've bought in all these comics you see on this. I once at one point had this Marvel Superheroes complete set, and I had about 30 copies of each. I still have number 11 and 12 I probably have like 10 or 12 copies of those each still. Yeah, but I sold all my number ones, got a lot of them graded, stuff like that. But yeah, that is my assessment. Have a good day.